Hey you guys, so today I am going to be making a video that I quite literally have wanted to film for the past like 4 years, but I have been so nervous and just hesitant to film it. I'm just nervous about what this could mean for me, and I was always nervous that like somehow this would make me like not be able to graduate, or like I get sued or something. I don't know. Basically this is just gonna be me being really honest, and something that I just needed to literally talk about for so long, and something that I get like messages and comments about to this day, about people being interested in lightweight rowing. And this is just so weird to finally be able to talk about it, and this is just gonna be the toughest video. I already know. I already apologize if it's all over the place. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure I'll get emotional, because it was something that was like such a big part of my life, but something that turned to be so like toxic and such a bad thing that took me a while to even realize. Yeah, let's just start from the beginning. Wait, before we go to the beginning, I just want to have a disclaimer that I don't think this applies to everyone. I think that there's a very specific type of person that can handle lightweight rowing. I think that doesn't apply to the majority of people. I mean, I'll talk about it more. I'm just going to try to make this very like individual based on me and my experience, and just tell my whole truth, because it's not the truth for everybody that does lightweight rowing, and I really don't want to get myself in trouble. I'm going to try to keep other people out of this video, coaches, specific programs, other athletes, etc. But I may have to talk about other people at certain times for examples, if that makes sense. You guys have no idea how hard this video is for me to film. I guess I'm just so nervous that I'm like nervous that things will come out wrong, or yeah, I'm not gonna like explain everything correctly, because I actually have this way where if something like bad happens in my life, or like I have a bad experience, I literally can like block out the memories and like try to forget that it ever happened, but I'm trying to remember it as best as I can. So let's start off. If you guys don't know what lightweight rowing is, basically it's just like normal rowing, except for like a lightweight women's rowing program. Everybody has to weigh in at 130 pounds or less, and you have weigh-ins before races, during the season. It like depends based on junior rowing or what collegiate program you row for, but yeah, that's basically it. You have to be under 130 pounds, and open weight rowing is just like normal, no weight limit. And yeah, so basically my understanding of why lightweight rowing even started is so that girls that are smaller still have a chance, kind of because open weight rowing programs are just mainly like bigger girls that just are a lot more powerful and can move boats better. And so someone like me that was always kind of, even though I'm tall, I'm 5'9", I was never going to be like the 185 jacked like 6'2" girl at Ohio on the open weight program killing it, you know what I'm saying? So basically that's my understanding of why lightweight rowing is even a thing, just like I said, so that smaller girls have a chance of being competitive in rowing. I think I've heard the only other sport that has like weigh-ins is wrestling. Like no other sport has a weight limit, and it's probably, I mean, I know it's for a good reason, because the whole weight side of things gets really tricky. But like I said, let's just start from the beginning. This is going to be long. Grab some popcorn, grab a water, because yeah. All right, so from the beginning, I started rowing 8th grade, and then in 9th grade, my freshman year of high school, Lucy and I were on a rowing program, just loving it, and it was honestly for fun. It wasn't even like too competitive. I don't think we ever even saw ourselves like rowing throughout all of high school and rowing in college. But as it turned out, that happened, and we like got really into it and were competitive. Basically, it was freshman year, beginning of our season in the fall, I want to say, and that was when I first heard of what lightweight rowing was. I never even knew it was a thing. It was just normal like youth rowing, and basically they just had everyone of us on the girls team weigh in. I remember one day before we went to crew practice at like our high school, they had us all step on the scale, and at this point I literally didn't know like what healthy eating was. I know that sounds funny to say, but Lucy and I would seriously eat like cinnamon buns and brownies for like breakfast every day. Like I just didn't know what it was to like eat healthy, or like that eating vegetables and fruit was important. I just didn't have a good, healthy, nutritious diet is what I'm trying to say. I just ate whatever I wanted. I was like in little kid mode, eating a bag of Doritos every time I got home from school. You know what I'm saying? So I remember we all weighed in on this scale, and all the girls were like talking about it, and that's when I've never felt like insecure about my weight or like not pretty or like overweight. I know I'm gonna get emotional in this video, it's hard to talk about, but I would say that was the first time. And as like a 14-15-year-old, that was really tough for me. And I remember after stepping on that scale and everyone talking about like how little they were, going into the locker room and crying, and Lucy was like, what's wrong? Like, it's just, we just weighed in, it's not a big deal, it doesn't matter. But I was like, other girls are so much smaller than me, I just feel so fat, like I don't know. And I remember freshman year of high school, I stepped on that scale, I was like 138 pounds. And like I said, lightweight rowing was 130. And I was like, I'm so big, like there's so many smaller girls, because we were all like freshmen in high school. I want to be a lightweight, like I know I can, I just need to, you know, chill and stop eating like a pan of brownies for every morning. And I'll just like start eating vegetables, whatever. And I want to say Lucy was like 140, 142. We just were like happy kids and didn't care and ate whatever we want, like I said. So I think that's when it really started, which should have been a red flag, me like crying the day I stepped on a scale, but it gets much worse. So that was like our start of lightweight rowing. I don't even know if we rowed or like competed as lightweight rowers our freshman year, sophomore year, maybe a little, but what I really remember is like junior, senior year of high school. And basically started eating healthy, ate like salads all the time, and got naturally like under 130, and it was like totally fine for me, I thought, and I like felt healthy. I was doing okay, like I was living my everyday life normal. And I remember still eating like a pint of Ben & Jerry's before weigh-ins, and I just couldn't be over like 127, 128 if I tried, because I was just working out so much and eating really healthy. As you guys know, when you're in high school, you kind of have a really fast metabolism and can get away with just being a twig and kind of eating like whatever you want here and there in moderation, because you just have a fast metabolism or like running around in high school. But looking back, I definitely was like under eating and not eating enough, but I didn't know. And actually I remember making a what I eat in a day video like my junior year and senior year of high school, and people freaking out and being like, oh my gosh, that's like 1,200 calories, or like you're just so not eating enough, or like how much you exercise, this is crazy, guys, don't eat what Gretchen eats, she's not eating enough. And I was like, what the hell, why are these people like saying this? I feel fine. But I definitely was not like feeding myself as I should have been, I believe, for like how much I was working out. Anyway, besides the point. So yeah, the lightweight rowing was like up and down throughout high school, and like I said, I never really had an issue with weight. I was pretty much okay, but there were sometimes, like especially my senior year, that it would be like the day before a weigh-in, I'm just gonna like eat a salad, or like that type of stuff started to happen. But it wasn't nearly as like drastic as it got to be in college. And I remember Lucy maybe struggling a little bit more senior year. Like I said, sorry, I'm gonna try to focus this on me, but it's hard because she's my twin sister. And I literally remember, I swear it's because she has the longest, thickest hair, like went to her butt, and it was like 2 pounds. We were like, we're gonna chop off your hair at a weigh-in if we need to. Lightweight rowing in high school, I would say wasn't terrible. It probably was not the best thing for us or our self-confidence. And I just remember getting down to like 124, 125, but looking in the mirror and being like, I've gotten so big. And I even remember my freshman year of college, and I came home and I made it's like one of the most popular videos on my channel with Lucy. I like forget what the vlog's called, but it's like in the winter time, we're trying on new triangle bikinis, and I'm like, sorry guys, I've been feeling so insecure, like my thighs are so big from like lifting in this like collegiate program. And everyone's like, what the hell, Gretchen, like you have way the wrong idea, you were so small. And I was like probably 130, 135, and just thought I was massive. And now I have way more self-confidence being bigger than any of that, just getting past lightweight rowing. Junior year, Lucy and I rowed in a lightweight double at youth nationals and did way better than we thought we were gonna do. We like came in 5th, but I remember that was a lot. And I remember just eating like strawberries and pistachios in Sacramento. Then our senior year, I think we're in some lightweight events, but also rowed in like an open weight, like youth 8 women's boat. And I remember a new coach we had sat us down one day and was like, why are you guys weighing in at like 128, 129? You're not rowing lightweight in this regatta, like go eat Five Guys. And I remember we literally went to Five Guys, because he was like, you don't need to be like a lightweight right now, you'll be fine in college when you were lightweight. So then we come to college, and it wasn't all bad, okay? I'm not trying to make this just like overwhelmingly negative. I just, like, the main reason I'm making this video is because I get messages and messages and comments to this day from girls asking me all about rowing, and it'll be anywhere from like, what is your 2K score, to so many people, most people are like, I'm really interested in lightweight rowing in college. You have tips for me? Like, how do I talk to coaches? Da, 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 da. But I just want to like scream from the rooftops, don't do it. Like, for most of you, I don't think it's the best idea, and senior year of high school me would have hated to hear anyone tell me that, because I was so like tunnel vision. And I think I've said this in videos past, like, I only applied to Boston University and was only looking at schools with lightweight rowing, and that was just what I felt like I had to do. And I really did enjoy rowing, but we were just in such a competitive program our senior year that I felt like I was gonna be a failure if I didn't go row like lightweight in college. And I knew that I could do it, I knew that I wanted to, and so did Lucy, so we both ended up at BU rowing lightweight. So like I was saying, not everything was bad. We come to BU, and in the fall, I remember being really worried about Lucy's my position on the team and thinking that we were gonna be like the slowest ones and there's so many fast recruits coming in, da da da. But we actually were like very quick, and I believe most of that was just because of how hard we were training over the summer coming into BU. And I remember like training all summer for Canadian Henley, if you guys know. This is so funny if any of you guys are like rowers and watching this, because you're gonna be like, LOL, like I row. And I'm probably like saying terms wrong now, like I've been out of rowing for like 4 years now. But anyway, yeah, I remember training really hard all summer coming into our freshman year of college, and Lucy and I came in like really strong. We're doing really well. We're in like our first varsity 8, da da da, and everything was good until it wasn't. And so I quickly started struggling with weight, and Lucy not so much. She's like very disciplined, and like, do I think I could have gotten through 4 years of lightweight rowing at BU? Yes. I think I would have been miserable. I know I would have been miserable. It would have ruined my metabolism, my self-esteem, my like relationships socially, like my mental state. It was just like bad, bad, bad. But fall was okay. And then at the end of our fall season, Lucy and I were both injured, along with like the majority of the team. And like I said, I'm gonna try to stop talking about other people, but like, to give you an idea of our recruiting class coming in of like, I don't even know how many, 13, 14 girls, I believe there was like 3 or 4 seniors left this year that graduated, if that gives you any sort of indication of just, yeah, the type of team dynamic and atmosphere and everything. And I know that's me specifically, but like, just overall, I want the message of this video to be, only do lightweight rowing if you know and are for sure that you can handle it, that you're interested in it, that you want to do it. Just know that that's going to be like your entire life in college, and you're not going to be able to do other like social things because of what a commitment it is. Like, you probably won't be able to be a part of Greek life, or, you know, go out with your friends because you have practice early. And yeah, it's definitely like a trade-off. And it's not like, oh, I just wanted to like party all of college. It just got really tough for like many reasons, which I will get into. So yeah, like I said, end of our freshman fall, we both ended up injured. I actually broke a rib through like a stress fracture, and you guys know stress fractures in your ribs are like pretty common for rowers, or maybe you didn't know, because it's just like a lot on your back. And I keep saying I'm not going to talk about other people, but I was told that it was my fault that I had a stress fracture in my rib because I wasn't getting enough sleep. So yeah, that didn't really make sense to me. And I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was running my body into the ground. I was feeling terrible by the end of the fall, because I was a biology major, and I remember sleeping like maximum 4 hours every night because I was doing YouTube, biology, and rowing all at the same time. Lucy actually has, I think at the time maybe it was like 1 herniated disc, but from rowing, 2 herniated discs. She's like, her back's just in a very bad spot, and it's all from rowing, and it makes me so sad to know that how injured she is just came from lightweight rowing. So I just want that to be like a warning to you guys, because I feel like when you're so small and have such little like fat on your body, you can just injure yourself so easily, especially if you're like under eating and not like feeding your body with the right nutrients, and your bones are all brittle, and it's just so easy to get injured, I feel like, in lightweight rowing, my opinion. All right, going into the fall, I was unhappy, and Lucy was very injured to the point that she couldn't row our freshman spring, and she was in like a really dark place because her and I had very different experiences. She loved rowing and wanted to do it like with all that she could, and she was so disciplined and could do everything she would to stay healthy and make weight, and she could do it. Like she, I would say, would maybe be one of the very few like specific people that could handle it. And I mean, I have a couple friends on the lightweight team that graduated and could handle it. I know that they had to starve themselves at times and were definitely not the healthiest they could be and definitely not the happiest, but like they could do it. And yeah, okay, so let's just get into like the meat of it, right? I feel like I'm like, so coming into the spring, I was like still kind of injured, unhappy. I remember I couldn't erg all of the winter, which was good. I kind of like gave my body a rest, and I would just run for like 2 hours every day to keep up with our minutes, which was crazy in its own and also not good for me. I remember having like the worst shin splints, and yeah, I just feel like at some point doing like 2 hours of cardio just stops being a good thing or helpful, and you're not going to become much like stronger, or you know what I mean, like it kind of just levels off how efficient and effective that is. Anyway, coming into the spring, Lucy's not rowing, and so I actually realized a big part of why I enjoyed rowing was just spending time with Lucy. And all spring I was miserable for many more reasons, which I will mention, but one of them, I like really was reflecting on my time rowing and thinking like, a part of the reason I so don't want to be here and I'm just not interested in doing this anymore is because I'm not like in a boat with Lucy. And it's so weird to like realize that and notice that, and that's probably like, you know, a stupid reason, is it wasn't really like for myself. I just like enjoyed spending time with Lucy. So when she wasn't there anymore, I was kind of like, what am I doing every day? And I remember like showing up to practice just being like, I'm counting down the seconds till it's over, and obviously that's not good. Like I completely lost my interest in rowing because I rowed for like 6 years, so I think my time was just done, and my body was also done. So I didn't mention this yet, but I actually lost my cycle, my period, if you will, for about 3 years, probably like 16, 17, 18, 19, like in there through like my freshman year of college. So yeah, like 18, 19. And it was just because I just didn't have like enough body fat. I like know for me, if I'm under like 135, I'll just lose my cycle, and that's just how it is because I just need to be bigger than that. I know probably so many of you are like 5'9" or even taller or whatever, close to me, and can be small. I just think like the way I'm built and the amount of muscle I have, whatever it is, I just know that I lose my cycle when I'm like under 135. So I didn't have my period for like years before rowing in college, and then coming to college, I remember we would meet with our nutritionist, and I remember her like briefly mentioning at like a meeting in the beginning of the year, oh, if you guys like don't get your period, come talk to me. And Lucy and me were like, what? Like, why does it matter? Like our doctor in high school always said it was fine, and that a bunch of our gymnasts and like track athletes didn't get their cycle, and that it was fine, it wasn't a big deal. So we were always like, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's kind of nice not getting it. I just didn't have to worry about it every month. So then I remember we met with a nutritionist, and we were like, we both don't have our cycle, like what's the big deal? And she was like, no, we really want you guys to like work to get it back. When you don't have it, you're at risk of developing like osteoporosis and like all sorts of things that you don't want. And basically, if you're not getting it, your body is like obviously thinks that you're not like healthy enough to bear a child. So she's like, you want it, you should work at getting it back, da da da. And she would put people on these meal plans based on if they had to like gain weight, lose weight. Obviously it was mostly losing weight, but I remember meeting with her, and we'd kind of just talk in circles and not really get anywhere. And it was really tough because throughout the year would mainly be around like 135 or above. I just couldn't be back to my like under 130 self because, well, so many changes happen when you come to college. Obviously you're moving, like new environment. We started lifting all the time, and I had never lifted before coming to college. And I remember like first couple months my quads just getting so big, and I just gained a lot of muscle, so it became like extremely hard for me to be under 130 pounds. And I don't know how I like fooled myself all of high school, telling myself like, you can do this in college, like you can stay under 130 pounds and row lightweight, when like probably deep down I knew that that just like wasn't going to happen. And I remember, you know, parents always know best. I remember my mom and my dad always sitting down Lucy and I saying, are you guys sure you want to row lightweight in college? Like, you're not going to be under 130 pounds for the rest of your life. Like, it could get really challenging. You guys can just row open weight somewhere, blah, 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 blah. And us being like, you guys don't know anything. Like, we're fine. Like, I'll always be under 130. Like, what's the big deal? Like, yeah, so they knew, but we didn't. And like I was saying, I'm all over the place. I remember sitting down with the nutritionist and her saying, well, you're 135, so you need to lose weight to, you know, make weigh-ins and be able to compete and race. But I actually would want you to gain weight because you don't have your cycle. So it's like, you need to gain weight for like your health, but you need to lose weight to stay on this team. And yeah, it was just really tough. And I remember her, like I said, giving us meal plans, and like numerous people on our team just all talking and saying, oh my god, we can never eat as much as she's like having us eat. It would be like 2 peanut butter and jellies as like snacks during the day, and then like your 3 other meals, and me being like, oh my god, I could never eat that much. I would gain so much weight. So it was kind of like, this is what you should be doing for like how much you're working out and like to stay healthy, but like you really have to be over here to like stay on the team and make weight. I would say it was a very bad team culture and just environment of like hush hush. The coaches know everything that's going on, and the older girls, and all the like unhealthy, really bad activities that are going on for people to make weight. And everyone just kind of turns a blind eye to it and are like, you have to make weigh-ins on Friday. Like, you got this, it's on you, girl. And yeah, I quickly found that out. So, okay, spring, me, unhappy. Lucy is not rowing all spring because she's disqualified. Well, she didn't get medically disqualified until her sophomore year of trying to row for literally so long. And it got really tough because she couldn't row but wanted to row so bad. And I despised rowing at this point, but was still on the team and am like not a quitter and didn't want to, you know, just give up on this commitment so easily. And I remember my spring season calling my parents every day crying about something new that I was like struggling with, all related to lightweight rowing. And they are obviously never wanted us to quit anything and want us to stick to our commitments. But finally, after completing my full year of lightweight rowing at BU my freshman year, they completely understood over the summer why I was going to quit the team in the fall, because it was like ruining my life, quite literally. I still feel like I am beating around the bush. This is just really hard to talk about. Okay, so spring comes and I am full on struggling with my weight, which just messed me up in so many ways, because I knew deep down how like small I was and how I shouldn't be losing weight and I didn't need to. And I felt okay being 136 and not losing the 6 pounds, but like me having to lose weight to stay on this team and compete with girls that were like much smaller than me. And I remember before weigh-ins, girls saying, oh my gosh, like this is so terrible, like I haven't eaten in 2 days, literally. Oh, this is so hard to talk about. And them just being like, oh wait, Gretchen, I can't even imagine, like we're 5'3" and 5'4", like if I was 5'9", I don't even know what I would do. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing either. Like this is just awful. Yeah, okay, so weight got really hard in the spring to keep making weigh-ins, and literally it was just like the most unhealthy routine, and just so, I'm gonna cry. So messed up for so many reasons, and I feel like I'm getting emotional because it was like really hard for me to deal with, like mentally, personally, like physically, how I saw myself. But also I know for like all the girls on my team, not all of them, for several, many, a majority, I don't know, other girls on my team, I know it was just as hard. And yeah, so basically in the fall it was more relaxed, and it's kind of like fall season, off season. It's almost like honors code for a lot of the races, and it would just be like, oh, if you're on the lightweight team, you can race, you're okay, even though most girls are probably like 137, 138, sometimes even more. But in the spring it was like every single Friday you weigh in under 130 or you're not competing. And let's just say specifically, you know what, let's just talk about the worst race of my life and when I knew I was quitting. All right, so weigh-ins were getting harder and harder, and maybe even before we started officially racing in the spring, you start having like your weigh-ins. And so we would weigh in Friday, mornings in the fall and winter, and then afternoons in the spring. But regardless, we would weigh in Friday, and people just would stop eating like Wednesday, and you like literally would maybe eat like a snack on Thursday, and you just would not eat Friday, like no matter what, before weigh-in, unless you were one of like the magical few on the team that were naturally like 120 or 125 and you could like live your life as you normally would. But for the majority, that just didn't happen. And what makes me even more like not okay with the whole lightweight rowing situation is, as the years go on and the lightweight rowing programs get faster and faster and people get better and better, it's only because these girls are stronger and bigger, and so they have an even more difficult time making weight. So like as these teams get better, more girls on the team are going to be naturally bigger and have to cut even more weight and be even more unhealthy, and it starts eating disorders and so many issues. And yeah, so back to the worst weigh-in ever, and when I knew I was quitting. Yeah, so it's like Wednesday and you start to get nervous. You're like, ooh, all right, I'm like 136, this isn't good. I actually remember, I won't say her name, obviously, a girl on our team specifically, saying that on Wednesday night she would weigh in at 142, and then Friday make it under 130. And we would all be like, what? Like, that's crazy, like how? And people would lose a lot of weight. I would say maybe up to like 10 pounds in 2 days, but not like over 12. Or like, I think the biggest cut that I had was maybe a little over 5 pounds in one day, which is crazy, like from waking up at 5 a.m. to like 3 p.m. But yeah, this one girl would say that she would weigh in at 142 Wednesdays and make that under 130 Friday, and we were like, what is she doing? Come to find out, maybe 2 years later, she like abruptly leaves the team and is like, I need to get help for my eating disorder. I've been dealing with bulimia for like several years, and it just broke my heart. And I know she wasn't the only one, and it can spark so many eating disorders. And like in a society that we live in where girls already feel like extremely pressured to be small, to be beautiful, or to lose weight, or to be skinny, or it's just like such an awful thing for like youth rowing, collegiate rowing, for these lightweight programs to like tell you to be smaller, to be on this team. And like it translated into my head to like be beautiful, to be under 130, like to be beautiful I have to be under 130, to be like what I'm supposed to look like I have to be under 130, to like row on this team, to be in shape and strong I should be under 130. And if like every pound I'm over 130, I'm like disgusting and fat. And it's like, I mean, now it sounds so wrong to me, but in the moment, that's like literally what goes through your head, and it's so messed up. Okay, back to my story of when I knew I was quitting. So yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, you're not really eating, you're getting like really nervous for the Friday weigh-in. And I actually remember all spring I had a class at 8 a.m. on Fridays, and I remember going, and for some reason we would always talk about food and like food companies. It was a business class, and people would like bring snacks and bring their breakfast, and every Friday morning I just was not eating to make these weigh-ins, and I would get like so upset. Like you get so emotional when you're not eating, and if anyone like is a wrestler watching this, or lightweight rowing, or God forbid has gone through like any of this for any reason, like not eating for a very long time, longer than you're supposed to, and not drinking water and starving yourself messes with you so bad. Like all of us would just have mental breakdowns. Like if you I don't know, if someone looked at you the wrong way, you would cry. Like I remember being in this class getting like so upset I'd have to step out or leave early or whatever. Like it sounds so like dramatic, but literally, like if any of you have been in this situation, you know. Okay, I'm getting off topic again. Friday morning of the worst weigh-in ever. So this weekend's race was in Princeton, New Jersey, and yeah, so the race was on maybe Saturday or Sunday, maybe both, like one of those regattas. I don't freaking know, it doesn't really matter. I want to say my race was like on Saturday, and then maybe like finals were on Sunday, or maybe it was just Saturday, whatever, maybe. So Friday, really stressed, really hungry, really dehydrated at this point, because Thursday is like when it would start for me usually. I feel like Wednesday I would start eating like lighter, and then Thursday like not that much at all, and then Friday like nothing at all. I think it was actually Thursdays, we would drink like as much water as we could, because then by the time Friday came, you could pee it all out and like dehydrate the F out of yourself so that you could weigh less. Or maybe that was Wednesdays. I don't remember the exact formula. But I remember waking up this Friday morning before weigh-ins, and I got up at 5. Yeah, and I actually remember in the beginning of the fall, this is probably like very bad that I'm saying this, I'm just being honest. I remember we all had to sign waivers that said that we wouldn't intentionally like lose weight for a weigh-in. LOL, like everybody does. And that we wouldn't go into a room over a certain amount of degrees for like a prolonged period of time. Basically, like you're not like dehydrating yourself to sweat out weight to make weigh-ins. So basically, like, don't go in saunas or like sit in hot tubs for like a million years, but that's what everyone did to make weight. And I would go into this sauna that I found in like the faculty locker room, and I would sit there for like ever to sweat out weight. And some girls had a really easy time with losing weight, like sweat running or sitting in a hot tub or sitting in a sauna, but it took me so long to sweat out that weight. I just like don't sweat normally, and I'm just not like, maybe I'm like perpetually dehydrated and that's why I don't sweat that much. I don't know. But yeah, it was like 5 a.m. I go to this sauna, and I want to say I was in there for maybe like an hour or two, and I would take breaks like in and out. And I remember I wouldn't sweat enough, so I would sit in this sauna and I would do crunches because it would make me sweat more, and it was so hot in there. And I brought in a towel to wipe off my sweat on my body because I thought it would like take the water away from me and like make me lose weight. And it would. Then I was down to like 133. Like I probably lost like 2 pounds in that sauna for like an hour or two. Then it's time to go to the boathouse, and you get your whole team together before you go. I feel like I'm not supposed to be talking about this, like it's like not allowed and bad, but I need to like, I'm not trying to like expose lightweight rowing, like I guess that's what I'm doing in a way, but I honestly just don't want any of you to have to go through this. So I remember I step on the scale, I'm 133, and I'm crying because obviously I'm an emotional mess. And I talked to like one of our assistant coaches, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this. I'm so worried. Like I don't know how I'm supposed to lose 3 more pounds. Like literally, I'm like, I already haven't been eating, like lost all the water I thought I could. Like I don't know what to do. And I remember she literally was like, do you think I'm worried? Like, does it look like I'm worried? I'm like, no. She's like, well, if I'm not worried, if we're not worried, you shouldn't be worried. Like, you can do it. Basically, like, turns her head and he's like, go do what you need to do. Like, that's just what the culture was, like, do what you need to do to make weight. And some of the older girls had like the craziest things they would do. They were like so calculated on like knowing what they could do and not do to make weight. And like at times and points that they would do certain things, it's crazy what you come up with when you have to. So we go on this bus ride, and you know what, I think I forgot to mention, I think I already started spitting maybe like that morning. Literally, I think wrestlers do that. We would spit into cups when it got really bad. So pretty much like a lot of girls. And I never had to work this hard for like a weigh-in before. This one was just the beginning of the end because it was so difficult. And I remember on the 6-hour bus ride spitting the entire way, and we would fill up cups of spit that you can't spit when you're really dehydrated, so we would suck on lollipops and Jolly Ranchers because it would make you spit enough. And I remember having these like full cups of like red purple spit, like saliva, because you just spit for like 6 hours, and my mouth would hurt. Everything would be like raw and just awful because you'd be spitting for like 6 hours. And that probably got rid of like another pound or 2. Like seriously, you can spit out way more than you think you can, and it's so messed up. And I remember after the fact of lightweight rowing telling like my normal friends that had never had any experience with lightweight rowing about all of this. And that's when I actually knew that I needed to like make this video, and that in itself it was wrong, because when you're in that environment, it's just what everybody's doing, so it makes it feel like okay, like it's just how life was. And I didn't realize till after, when I was telling people how terrible it was, that I realized like how wrong it was and how bad it was, because it just felt like okay when I was in it. And afterwards I was like, wow, life doesn't have to be this hard. I can just eat whatever I want, eat healthy, eat unhealthy in moderation, work out whenever I want, be like a normal human. Like I didn't know how to be normal anymore. So yeah, like I said, it was only after I quit that I realized like really how bad it was, like to the extent. And just like jokingly tell my friends, like, you want to lose like 5 pounds in a day? I know how. Like You don't want to, trust me. So yeah, we're on this bus ride, and this has got to be like another weigh-in, but another example of like another time I was spitting. I remember I was sitting on my bed like upset, like the morning of a weigh-in or the night before, whatever it may be, and I was spitting in a cup, like sitting there on my bed, like just defeated. And I remember the cup spilled all over my like pretty white Urban Outfitters comforter, and it was like purple and red all over my comforter, and I think I cried for like maybe 20 minutes. Like I was so upset because I was so emotionally like unstable and fragile because I was like starving, and then I just spilled this spit cup everywhere, and it just pushed me over the edge. And this stuff happened all the time. So we're on this bus ride, spitting from Jolly Ranchers, doing the whole thing, and literally everybody is like headphones in, like dialed in, like nobody's talking to anybody because everybody is so like dealing with their own issues that day. Then I remember we stopped at like a Whole Foods. I remember it all too well. And we have a scale on the bus, we bring it, I step on it, and at this point I'm like 131, and I'm like, I mean, like I can't lose anything else. Like you can't pee, you can't poop, you can't spit anymore. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So we're almost to the race course. We get to the race course and I'm still 131. I'm like, I'm just like not gonna race, like I can't do it. And thus started my first sweat run. I had never sweat run before. I didn't mean this to be like a big just like storytelling of this one time, but I think it's like important for setting the scene of all of this. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of girls would sweat run like in lightweight junior rowing, youth rowing, and in college, but I never had to before, and this was my first time. And I remember standing there like limp, like so upset, and just like seniors on my team just like loading me up with every layer they had. Like I had like 3 pairs of leggings, like 2 pairs of sweatpants, like every like long sleeve Lulu, like zip up sweatshirt thing you can imagine, and I was just like a snowman by the end. And me and it was 2 other girls I remember had to sweat run. Like this was like the end, and they're like, hey, you gotta weigh in like an hour, like make it happen. And we went on this sweat run, and I think after like 20 minutes they were like, yeah, we're good, like we sweat enough. And I was like, I literally just am not sweating, like I just know myself and I just need to keep going. And so I'm like sprinting down this like path by this river that we're racing at, and I remember like teams of girls running by in their like spandex and tank tops and seeing me so clearly like on a sweat run and just feeling like embarrassed and ashamed and awful. And I took a picture of myself, and I think I sent it to my parents, and I was like, I'm done, this is it, this is like the last weigh I'm doing, like the last race, like I can't do it. And it was awful. And then yeah, I probably sweat ran for like 45 minutes or something, and then finally make my way to the weigh-ins, and I'm so nervous. I'm like probably didn't even make it. And we had these special weigh-in unis that weren't like normal thick ones. They were like literally paper thin, and you wouldn't even race in them, you would just weigh in them if you were like cutting it close. And I remember waiting in line, being so nervous, being like, literally F this, like I hate this so much, and I'm just so upset and so thirsty and so hungry. And I weighed in at 130.0, and I think I like started crying like on the spot, or like I like screamed, or like I don't even know. And everyone on my team was like, chill out, and I was like, no, I just like barely made it and couldn't believe that I made it. I think I didn't even think that I made it, because I thought you had to be under 130, but it's like 130 and under. So I like by the skin of my teeth made it, and was just like so emotional. And then actually after you like starve yourself for a couple days, you're like not even hungry anymore. Like your body's just so messed up and so confused and in like starvation mode, where it's just hanging on to everything. And yeah, so I remember just drinking like bottles of water and eating like a lettuce and a banana, because you just don't even want like other food, you just need like nutrients. And like a day later you're like 135, because your body literally soaks it all in like a sponge. Like you don't even go to the bathroom for like a day or 2. I'm not kidding. And it was really bad, and this was like a cycle, like every week. And I remember talking to a girl when I like during my freshman year, and she was like, oh yeah, it was like so tough as a freshman. I remember all of us like playing this sick game where we would make weight on Fridays, eat and go out and drink like all weekend, and be like 140 on Sundays, and then do it all over again and have to get down to 130 by Friday, do it all over again on the weekend. And like obviously that like wasn't the way to do it, and like really not smart. And like I said, I know there is, I'm sure, like a healthy way of doing it, and I think I could have done it all my 4 years if I really was eating like what I needed to be eating and just like devoted my entire life to it, and like was sleeping enough and like hydrating myself enough and doing everything right and the right amount of training. But like that just wasn't realistic for me and like wasn't going to happen. But it was just really freaking bad. So I just want this to be a warning to all of you that really want to do lightweight rowing. And even if it's easy to make weight in high school, like I didn't struggle that much in high school, know that you'll gain weight in college. It just happens. Your metabolism changes, you're growing up, you probably maybe will start drinking alcohol. Even if you don't, like if you come to a program where you start lifting, like you're gonna build muscle. And I don't know, I am so scared that I'm gonna get like hate on this video, and I don't know, this is just like so hard to talk about. I feel like I talked about mainly like what happened, like specifically in like events that occurred, but like what it does to a person and you deep down stays with you for so long and just messes you up so bad. And like I said, like freshman year me that was living my best life and like didn't care, yeah, I could be healthier and like eat healthy, but lightweight rowing just becomes like an obsession. Like you step on the scale like a million times a day. And actually I remember by my senior year I was so aware of like my body and how much I was working out and how much I was putting into it and out of it. Like I knew my body so well that before we would step on a scale, I would say to Lucy, like every time I'd be like, I know how much I weigh, and I'd be like, today I'm gonna weigh in at 128.6, and I'd step on the scale and I'd be 128.6. Like I knew every time how much I was gonna be, which was like freaky and probably not that good of a thing to be so like obsessed with weight. Like I know it wasn't a good thing, and it just messes with you so bad. Like you place all of your self-worth on like this number on a scale that like literally doesn't matter in the real world at all. And I remember holding an apple like in the spring and just thinking like how much it weighed in my hand versus how much it would weigh inside of me if I ate it, and like how much weight it would make me gain versus like if it would like make me that much less hungry, or if it wouldn't help that much and maybe I just shouldn't eat it at all. Like no one should have to think that much about food that they're eating or like overthink things like that. Like it just became so unhealthy and so not okay. And by the end of my spring of my freshman year, I was like just miserable, really unhealthy, couldn't get my period, had the stress fracture in my rib that was like extremely painful, couldn't lose weight, just all sorts of bad, and really like disordered eating. I don't want to say that I had an eating disorder because I don't know enough about it, and I don't want to like offend anyone watching this that has gone through that, because like anorexia, bulimia, any sort of eating disorder I know is just like the worst thing ever and so tough. And I don't want to like downplay that at all and just say like, oh, I had an eating disorder. Do you know what I'm saying? But I know that my eating wasn't normal, clearly. And like starving yourself every week at the end of the week to step on a scale is never good. My metabolism was shot. It was so bad. I was just like unhealthy and not okay. But just like me in lightweight rowing as a whole just stopped being okay, and as you can tell, clearly could not healthily make weight, and it was just really bad. So I just knew that had to be the end of my time. And also, I mean, if you made it this far, if you guys saw my video at the end of my freshman year, once I quit the beginning of my sophomore year, actually, that's when I made the video where I talked about what I couldn't tell you for a year. And literally my whole freshman year, when I was lightweight rowing at BU, I couldn't even talk about rowing at all, show rowing, nothing, rowing apparel, because in that whole video I talk about how it's like an NCAA rule that you have to have your amateurism and you can't make money off of like you or your name. But that's essentially what I was doing on YouTube, even though it didn't have anything to do with rowing, because obviously it's like lifestyle, beauty, fashion, da. And so my condition was that I could row at BU as long as I didn't talk about BU athletics, BU lightweight rowing at all, women's rowing in general, no rowing apparel. I remember having to take down videos like right after I posted them, because our compliance like director with the NCAA at BU would call me up and say like, this has to come down, like your roommate was wearing a rowing sweatshirt, like crazy stuff like that. But I'll link that down below so you guys can watch that if you're interested in like the NCAA crap that you have to go through because the NCAA rules are ridiculous. I think my main thing I want you guys to take away from this is, I mean, take everything that's happened to me, and I guarantee you so many other lightweight rowers and probably way worse things. Just take it and like process it if you want to lightweight row in college, and think like, is it worth it? Can I do this for all 4 years? Also note, you guys, that there isn't any scholarship money for lightweight rowing. I'm pretty sure, at least when I came into BU, I feel like it was a thing. People would say that there was like one lightweight rowing scholarship at Stanford, or like, I don't even know. But back like 4 years ago when I was recruited, like at BU, there's no lightweight rowing money, like scholarships for girls. So that's because they always said that the NCAA doesn't even recognize lightweight rowing as like an NCAA sport. And the weird thing is about that is like, you can't have scholarship money, but they always said that since lightweight rowing is rowing, like rowing is an NCAA sport, so we still had to follow NCAA rules. So that's why I had like the issue with my YouTube channel and everything. So it just kind of seemed like a lose-lose situation, like no scholarship money, but you still have to follow their rules. Like that doesn't really make sense to me either. Because so many people, like a big thing when I quit, everyone was like, oh my god, how do you still go to BU? Like, did you lose your scholarship, da da da? And I'm like, I never had a scholarship. No one does on that team. Everybody pays like full tuition. And to all the messages that I get about people wanting to row lightweight in college and their advice and stuff, this is my reply. Think long and hard about if you want to endure how difficult it's going to be. I know the retention rates are terrible, and most people don't make it all 4 years because they start to go through at least some of what I went through. And yeah, I just realized like, this is not how I want to spend my 4 years of college. Starving myself, unhappy. I won't have a social life because I won't be able to go out. We actually had dry season, all of our spring season, for like 6 months. You can't even drink, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying you need to drink, just more of like my whole life being consumed by it. Like every day, that's all I would think about. And like what I was eating, like it was just consuming everything, and I couldn't like focus in class. I couldn't like spend time on relationships with people, and I was probably like short with people and snippy because I was like hungry all the time. And I just realized like how unhappy I was, and just everything was wrong. And I know I talked about this before, but I was like, that was like the most unhappy I've been in life. Like spring of my freshman year and over the summer, just me thinking all summer, like, what am I gonna do? I'm so unhappy. And I think I didn't work out like all summer because my body was just so tired and like overworked. Like I think I worked out here and there, but not that much at all. And then in the fall, I was like, I'm going to take my happiness into my own hands. And not to say, like I get so worried. Obviously, if you are like depressed or anything like that, that's totally separate than just being like unhappy and like frustrated in your life, like two different things. I wasn't depressed. I, didn't have any of that going on, because that's much different than me just saying like, I'm gonna make changes in my life. Like if you're depressed, obviously it's like a mental health like sickness, like you could go on medicine, da da da. So I didn't deal with that, but I know many others do. And I was just like frustrated and unhappy, and thought that I even had to like transfer colleges because I was like, I'm just so unhappy here. And luckily I realized I didn't hate BU or being in Boston. I just hated rowing at BU. So once I got rid of that, changed my major, broke up with a boyfriend, I was good. I feel like that's another good lesson. Like if you're unhappy with how things currently are, like evaluate everything that's going on and just make changes. And my sophomore year, I was way happier because I was able to focus on YouTube, get better grades in school, literally sleep and like take care of myself, see friends and family more, travel. And I couldn't do any of that with rowing. But I just knew that I needed to share this period of my life with you guys and just lightweight rowing as a whole, because like I said, I get so many questions about it. And I feel like when you're a rower in high school, and especially like a lightweight rower, you like idealize these lightweight programs. And like I said, it was so like tunnel vision. Like if I row like youth lightweight rowing, I need to go lightweight rowing in college. And I took my official visits. I was just drinking the Kool-Aid and so about it. And I wish that graduated from college Gretchen could tell senior year of high school Gretchen, don't do it. Like, this isn't what you want out of the next 4 years of your life. It's not worth your time or how much it's going to affect your self-esteem and your confidence and how you look at yourself and the world and just, you know. And like I said, it's like long-lasting effects that last with you way longer than you'll be doing lightweight rowing. And I would say it probably took me a good like 3 years to try to be normal again. Like, honestly, until fall of this past year, my senior year, was when I finally was like, wait, I know I can just eat whenever I'm hungry, whatever I want, try to eat as healthy as I can, and work out whenever I feel like it and whenever I want to. And I don't have to make myself work out every day, because I don't have to work out to look a certain way. I work out to like feel good because I enjoy doing it. And I don't have to just eat this because it's healthy. I can eat whatever I want and what my body feels like. And I know it sounds like so simple to think that way, but it just took me so long to get in a good mind space of it all. Mind space, mind, headspace, mindset, you know what I'm saying. And this is getting so long, and I'm sure I can make a whole other video about body image, and I'll probably cry way longer in that one, because it's been really a roller coaster for me, and mostly to do with lightweight rowing, because I'm sure I would have been a lot better off without it. But I know that every girl deals with body image issues. Like, no matter who you are, I don't even care if you say that you haven't. Like, I know that there's been times where you felt like not confident about how you look or whatever, and it's just like breaks my heart, because everybody, this sounds so cliche, but like literally everybody is beautiful in their own way, and God made you how you're supposed to be. And if you can't make a weigh-in under 130 because you're not supposed to be under 130, that's okay. And you don't have to be under 130 pounds to like be a thriving, beautiful young individual. I don't know, like, I don't know how else to say it. Sorry if I've been so weird in this video. This is like so hard to talk about and doesn't feel real that I'm even talking about this, because I've been putting it off for so long, because I've been so nervous and I'm so scared of getting in trouble. But the only thing I've told you is the truth. So yeah. But whenever bad things happen, I always try to think of why I'm grateful for them. If that sounds weird, maybe so it makes me feel like I don't regret things that have happened or like time that has been spent on things. But after reflecting for many years about my experience lightweight rowing, I am so grateful that it taught me hard work and discipline, and honestly, in an indirect way, taught me that everybody deserves to be treated like fairly and respectfully. And if someone isn't treating you that way, like, you don't deserve that and you don't need to put up for it, and you can leave. That's what I did. And yeah, I feel like it now, where I am now, it just showed me like how much I've grown and how much I'm just different from that period of my life, and that you can overcome like challenges, this is getting deep, that you go through in your life, and that I'm stronger because of it and way more confident in who I am. And even though I'm not under 130 pounds, I feel confident and amazing and beautiful in my own way. And yeah, and it's taken me so long to get there, and I can improve, and everybody can. But before this gets way too long, I'm really sorry about how all this came out so disjointed. If any of you have any thoughts, just leave them down below. Be nice, because this took a lot to get me to talk about this at all. It's just like really hard to talk about. And if you can't understand, I don't blame you, because you're probably like, what is even going on? Like, what is this video? But yeah, I'll answer your guys' comments down below. You'll probably have questions or be like, what? So yeah, I know this is nothing like any of my other videos. If you're like not into it, go watch my other ones, because there's way more that have nothing to do with this. I actually was gonna film a video today. This was gonna be me talking about my ACL update, a lot more friendly and easy to film, but I knew, I've been just thinking about this so much, and if I didn't do it now, I like would never do it. And I know it's weird timing, but it's because I finally graduated, and I feel like, I don't know what could happen now. I thought maybe if I made it during school, I like wouldn't be able to graduate or something. Okay, before I talk way too long, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful or informative in a way. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.